This spotlight on soybeans is brought to you by Missouri soybean farmers and their checkoff. Youth soy activity books are nearing release. Missouri soybeans outreach and education geared to early grade.
We're back, ready with our fourth group today on FFA Day on KSMO Media. I have 5 first-year students with me, and they're going to approach their answers probably a little differently than some of the group I had last hour when I had 4 seniors and a sophomore. But they'll give awesome answers, and just feel free to share with our listeners when I ask a question. Feel free to share your feelings and about your background and history and your experiences in ag education FFA. And actually 3 of them got recruited at the last minute. Now, I don't know whether the other 2 even knew they were coming, because lots of times the teachers will kind of spring this on them, because if they share this information in advance, some folks quickly develop a short-term illness and are not able to make their way to school the day of FFA Day. And most of them are smiling. None of these you all wouldn't have chickened out if you'd known you were going to do this, would you?
No, not at all.
All right, awesome people here. If you would, introduce yourself, tell our listeners and viewers a little bit about yourself, your grade in school, who your family is, that kind of thing. So, and there's no certain order. Whoever would just really like to go first, be at the top of the list, get after it. And over here, if you're sharing a microphone, you might kind of turn that microphone. Yeah, that's it. Dylan, just turn the top of it.
Hello, I'm Dylan Parker. I'm a 9th grader at SALEM R80. My family consists of Donald Scott Parker and my mother, Michael Leanne Kahn.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Maggie Hogan. I'm in 9th grade. I go to SALEM R80, and my parents are Josh and Liz Hogan.
Very good.
Hello, my name is Jackson Roderman. My parents are Mary and Tony Roderman. I'm in 9th grade, and I'm feeling a little bit down right now. a little sick. That's why I sound kind of hoarse.
Okay. Nobody would know the difference, but now they understand why you're a little hoarse, Jackson, and that's fine. He's going to do a good job, as they all are. Who's next?
I'm Rebecca Pipp, and I'm in 9th grade at SALEM R80, and my parents are Anthony and Claire Pipp.
Okay, and finally.
Hello, my name is Allison Schaefer. I am a 9th grader at Salem High School, and my parents are Lane and Josh Schaefer.
All right, there you are. You are now introduced to this 5 first-year ag students at Salem High School. Would you share with our listeners first why you decided to enroll in ag education and become an FFA member? What was the motivation behind that?
So a big part of my motivation to join ag is I live on a ranch and I work with cattle, and I wanted to build my intelligence on them, such as learning their digestive system, and I also want to participate in other activities that ag produces.
All right, Dylan, thank you. Very good.
My motivation was mainly most of my family members have been in the FFA community and have served for FFA, and I thought I'd carry on that tradition and carry on our chicken processing.
All right, cool. Cool. We'll learn more about that in a while, I'll bet.
I joined FFA because my family lives on a farm, and we work with cattle, and I've been selling pigs with 4-H since I was 8, and I wanted to keep doing that through FFA.
All right, very good, Jackson.
My motivation to join FFA is I've lived on a farm my whole life. We have a lot of livestock, and I've wanted to learn more about them. And enhance my public speaking skills. We've done a lot of public speaking.
Good point, Rebecca.
Okay, my motivation to just join FFA, I don't really live on a farm or anything, but we do have, and I just really wanted to learn more about the animals and just the process of like raising them and stuff, and I like the experiences that FFA gives me.
Okay, very good, Allison. Very good. Let's ask you a little easier question. Maybe that wasn't a difficult one, obviously. What's been your favorite FFA activity and why? You've put in about a semester and a half now of FFA, and so you've had an opportunity to participate in a lot of different activities. What's been your favorite and why? Maggie?
We had a fall public speaking contest, and I enrolled to do hardwood, trees, and forest products. I got 4th place out of 6, and that was the most fun, adventurous thing I've done through the FFA community.
Even though it was public speaking, it was
Yeah,
it was fun.
Terrifying.
Yeah, but it's really helped develop some comfort, improve your self-confidence in speaking. A lot of benefits from it. Okay, somebody else. Dylan?
I would like to say my favorite ag activity or FFA activity has to be Beef Days, because we got to branch out and show the next generation coming to ag what it can be like and what it has to offer. And I also got to see some of my former teachers, which was a good pickup. And I think I like Beef Days the most.
Cool. Beef Days in past years seems to always come up, but it hasn't very many times today, so I'm very glad you mentioned it. All right, someone else about their most favorite FFA activity.
I like the Green Hand Motivational in Waynesville because we got to meet a lot of different chapters of FFA and all their different leaders, and it was really cool.
Getting out and going and visiting with other FFA members from other schools is a big benefit of FFA, and of course the Salem FFA has always been very active in taking students to those different leadership type activities where those things could happen. All right, ladies, we still got a couple of you to share your favorite.
My favorite would probably have been the Food for America. We went around to some of the rural schools and talked about like different agricultural things, how we get our food, and we went to talk to the 4th grade classes around the rural schools.
Okay, very good, Rebecca.
My favorite FFA activity that we've done so far is probably going to the Springfield Underground. I really thought it was a good experience to learn about the food and how they store it, and it was just a really cool and fun thing to do.
I'm glad you mentioned that as well. That's the first time today that's been mentioned, and I know that's kind of I don't know whether it's a new activity necessarily, the Salem FFA, but it's so interesting. So many people have no idea that exists or the magnitude of it, the size of it. It's just a huge underground facility, and so it's pretty awesome. All right, good. A lot of different activities that we like that we've been involved in. I have to watch our time as we go along because I have to make sure that we take a break at an appropriate time and those kinds of things. So if I act like my attention is going other places, don't get concerned about it. It'll be all right. Any other activities that come to mind as people were talking that you'd like to tell our listeners and our viewers about?
We had a day where we all went to this big farm called Wardak, and we got to, everyone here, put on the biggest glove I've ever seen and stick our hands inside of a porthole in a dairy cow. And that was just so cool. I didn't know dairy cows were that big, actually. I thought they were kind of smaller than that.
A lot of learning taking place, and Wardak always comes up as one of the favorites. I'm sure getting out of a day of school has nothing to do with it. It's just about the opportunities to learn lots of different things. But then if you did get to go and your primary motivation was to get out of the day of school, and then you get there and you get to put on an OB sleeve and slip your hand down and come out with some contents from the rumen of that old dairy cow. It is quite interesting, isn't it? Yep. And for those of you listening, their heads are all going up and down in kind of like bobbleheads, that they're agreeing, okay? What have you found Or anybody else, another activity that we haven't mentioned?
Uh,
Dylan's got
yeah.
another one.
So our Green Hand Night at the very start of this year, it was really fun because we got to do a lot of activities, a lot of fun activities with food, and we got introduced to our officers, which is always a good thing. It's good to know the people that are supporting the what do you call this?
Chapter.
Chapter.
Yeah.
It's always good to
The
know
leadership.
the leadership opportunities and the people in there. So.
Did you have some ice cream?
Oh yeah, we had some ice cream. It was really good ice cream
Oh,
and
okay.
s'mores. Everybody loves
Oh,
s'mores.
s'mores too.
I
Ooh.
threw Cheetos on someone's head. Was that you or was that
don't know.
Alexis?
Somebody said Cheetos.
I threw Cheetos at someone.
Huh, interesting. Okay. Anything else on that? All right, let's talk about challenges. What have you found to be the most challenging or difficult part of ag education and FFA? And it doesn't matter who goes first, as that's been the norm in this whole group session.
Go ahead. No, all right. So my hardest challenge I think is actually coming to ag class because being from a rural school and not R80, I did not have the ag class opportunity, so I was on my own. Now that so coming over to ag, it did teach me a lot of stuff. So I think that is the biggest challenging is transitioning from that rural school to the high school and being able to take more classes like an ag class.
Okay, a lot of differences between the previous situation and then that class schedule, moving every 50 minutes, 55 minutes. I don't know how long the class periods are now. Even though I've got it written down here, I'm not going to take the time to calculate it out, but I know they're around 50 minutes, something in that neighborhood. Now, we don't have to answer that, so don't worry about the phone, guys. All right. Others, difficulties that you've encountered in ag education, FFA. Maggie?
We learned the FFA creed, and Dylan has it down to a science, but it was very hard, especially for me, to learn and get the specific paragraphs down. I'm glad that Mr. Sanders let us learn it in chunks, though, because that was definitely something that made it a lot easier.
It is a challenge, and most of you, unless you happen to have been in an educational setting previously to ninth grade year where they didn't have you do any public speaking, it's your first introduction to really getting up in front of a group. Plus, you're up in front of some strangers and friends. I don't know which is the most challenging, but to get up in front of your friends and have to memorize this and speak, it's pretty challenging. And then you got these strangers that you've never been in class with before that you're just getting to know. So that's part of helping you, of course, make those additional acquaintances. Other activities? Did you have another one, Jackson? Or
It's kind of that. Just
kind of the same thing?
New people.
Okay. All right. Is that it on the difficulties?
I think I had a difficulty also with the creed just because it was kind of difficult to get in front of the class with public speaking. I mean, it's just challenging to remember everything. But I am also glad that he did do it in chunks just because it just helped us remember and memorize each category.
And I think the chunks the ladies are referring to are the individual paragraphs
Yeah.
of the FFA creed. How many I believes in it? Uh-oh, they're having it.
There's 5 or 6.
There's 7.
There's 7?
7 paragraphs.
Oh, nice.
5 paragraphs, 6 I believes.
Yep.
I believe.
Yeah.
There's one more on one of them. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, let's turn our attention to talking about taking a break. Let's take our first break here, our 90-second break. We're going to have Dylan share some of the names of the nearly 50 sponsors of FFA Day on KSMO Media. Dylan, would you share that list?
Yep. Our title sponsor is Roberts Justin Lumber Company. And other sponsors are Pratt, Mitchell and Company PC, Wilson Mitchery, Terry, thank you. Century 21 South Central Reality, Napa Auto Supply, VIP Properties, Laundria's Furniture and Acquaintances, and 72 Farm Center.
We might have to, what'd you say? Try those again. Jackson.
Our sponsors
That's
are
all right, Dylan. I mean, you haven't seen some of these names previously, so we'll have Jackson share those again.
Our title sponsor is Roberts and Judson's Lumber Company. We have Pratt Mitchell's and Company PC, Wilson's Mortuary, 21 Century 21 South Central Realty, Napa and Mooney Auto Supply, VIP Properties, Larendee's Furniture and Antiques, and 72 Farm Center.
All right, and even that last one is, because you're not familiar, is Lorenda's.
Lorenda.
Yep, Lorenda's. That's kind of a different name. And we will share those one more time. You guys can fight over who does them when we get to the end of our time, on-air time. There you go. We'll just slide it over and give Maggie a chance when we get to that point. But we're going to take our 90-second break here, and I'll send it to Alan. You want to take that over, and we'll be back shortly.
Your legacy. Protect it, prosper, and pass it on. Stephen Patterson, attorney at law, specializes in real estate, estate planning, probate, family law, and business law. A Salem native, Stephen Patterson provides comprehensive representation to clients throughout southern Missouri. If you need assistance, contact Stephen Patterson, attorney at law, at 573-453-2529.
For surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Cameron Irway in Salem today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
With tax season fast approaching, you might have some questions that you need answered. If so, give the Tax Masters a call. They have over 40 years of experience and can handle all types of accounting services plus certified e-filing. Don't ever let yourself be a slave to the IRS. Come and see Jackie or Beth at Tax Masters, located at 107 West 4th Street here in Salem, or call 729-3001.
Change to a little different topic. We're going to talk about contest teams. This is contest season, and I assume that some of you are doing some contest teams. And I'm going to ask you to tell what teams you're doing and a little bit about what you've learned so far about what's involved in that particular contest team. So who's doing contest teams first off? All right. So Maggie and Dylan are going to get to talk about that. Are you doing one, Jackson? I couldn't tell for sure whether your hand went up. All right. Maggie, Dylan, one of you tell about your career development event you're doing.
Okay, so I am doing FFA Creed Speaking. Coming here in March, which I found myself this summer when Mr. Sanders came over studying the creed a little bit, and I found it very challenging, but I enjoyed it. So I pushed myself and I learned the creed, and I decided I'm going to push myself even farther and do FFA Creed Speaking for our chapter.
Very good. Very good. Now, we have career development events and leadership development events. So that's an LDE, leadership side. Maggie, what's yours?
Mine is poultry, which consists of butchering meat birds, raising egg layers and show birds, and just generally selling eggs and taking care of poultry. That's
Okay.
the fun part.
And you're doing the contest team for poultry?
Yes.
Okay. There's a lot to it, and it's a fun contest. I think it was one of my favorites when I was teaching. It's a clear-cut contest. There's not a lot of personal judgment in it like there is for livestock judging. There's always some personal influences when it comes to livestock judging. Poultry, still some in a few areas, but not as much as some others. So good luck with those two events, contest teams that you're going to be involved in.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your SAEs. What are you doing for your supervised agriculture experience? And I don't care. We don't care who goes first. Rebecca or
Okay.
Allison, either one. Rebecca, go ahead.
Okay, I'm doing my SAE on my bottle calves. Right now I have 8 bottle calves, and I'm raising them and then selling them and that's pretty much what mine's about.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I know. We had one for a month, and then, 8 bottle calves is a lot of work.
Yes,
Good
for
luck.
sure.
Allison?
So for my SAE, there's not much that I can do with the animal side of things, just because we don't have a ton of land just like cleared out because there's a bunch of bush and stuff like that. But I just really did something with my papa in this, which is he owns McCoy Vision Clinic in town, and I just work there really. I don't really have a defined schedule quite yet, just because I am still 14, so there's just a little bit of grayness there. But I really hope to just pursue that until I can work onto it, if that makes sense.
Next time I go see him, I'll tell him some jobs that he could put you doing, you know, raking the leaves, trimming the hedge, all kinds of things like that. All right, who's next?
So for my SAE, I am doing poultry, but involving the egg side of poultry. So I have 12 chickens, and they lay eggs for me, and then I gather the eggs and I sell them to willing participants who want to eat my eggs. They're not bad by any means.
And can't afford them?
And can't afford them. So yeah, I like to say that it's an ownership of me. I take care of most of it. I buy most of it. And I think, you know, the money side of it, you know, it's very challenging to keep everything down with the record book, but everybody loves a challenge, so I think I'm doing very well with it so far.
Okay.
My SAE is also a ownership poultry SAE, except I sell Polish chicks and Polish pullets. So mine's more on the showbird side.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. Couple of poultry folks. All right, Jackson.
My SAE is going to be my show hog, which I haven't got quite yet, but we're already buying the feed and the chips, and it's going to be a show hog, so we're buying whips and the power fuel for it, but I'm just ready to get it.
Yeah, you're about a month from weigh-in, so you've got a little bit of time to get that in place. Tomorrow is the steer weigh-in, and I think the 25th of March is the hog weigh-in, if I remember correctly. So you got a little time, but you'll get her done. And so that gives you an idea of what the SAE programs are of this group of 5. Even though you're first-year members, I'd be interested in finding out what some of your future plans are. And I'm sure our listeners and our viewers would be interested as well. What are your future plans?
So my future plans, I want to stay through ag throughout the high school, and then I want to hopefully go to S&T, maybe get a scholarship as well for SAT, and I want to go into electrical engineering and then build on from there. And when I'm older, I would personally like to live on a farm and own some cattle and chickens and other stuff like that, and then show my kids how it is to be an ag and own animals like that.
All right, very good. Who's next?
I will go through the ag program all through high school, and then after high school, I'm going to go to MSU West Plains for my teaching degree. Then I'll go to MSU Springfield for my teaching degree again, and then hopefully after that, I'll become an English teacher here in Salem and stay at my roots.
Okay. I don't have any former students that are English teachers, but I have a number of former students that are teachers. So that's a very... I compliment you, particularly as difficult as it is to teach today.
Thank you.
Allison?
I would like to stay in the ag and FFA classes just throughout high school, and I will wanting to go to Mizzou. I haven't quite decided, just look into colleges, since I am a freshman. But I would like to pursue anesthesiologist and go into the medical field. I don't really quite know if I want to become an anesthesiologist assistant yet or just the actual thing. I know it's a lot of schooling, so I still have to look into it, but that's just something that I would like to do.
A lot of responsibility in that chosen, if that's the particular career you do pursue. Very good. Rebecca?
I'd love to stay throughout the FFA ag program throughout high school. And since I'm still a freshman, I haven't quite looked into colleges, but I'd love to become a veterinarian and also stay on a farm. I've lived on a farm my whole life. And I also would like to do a side job with horses. I love training horses and working with them.
Okay. Varied interest among this group of 5, and they've all done an excellent job of sharing with our listeners what they have as future goals. One thing, and particularly with first-year students, and I don't think I did with the earlier group, If you had the opportunity to talk to an 8th grader about enrolling in Ag Education FFA, what would you tell them and why? Maggie?
Don't do what I did. Please pay attention in class. It makes the class so much easier. It just makes it so much easier. Just pay attention.
Okay. That was honesty right here, and it's recorded on video for everybody to look at later.
Lovely.
So, talking to an 8th grader about enrolling in ag, I would bring up the biggest point, in my opinion, is living on a farm and living in a city. To join FFA and ag, you don't have to live on either. You can live in the city or on a farm. Ag branches you out and teaches you about those things, even if you know about them already. So, as an 8th grader, I would enroll in ag because I already am, but I would recommend enrolling in ag.
And you've told why, definitely. All right, very good. Rebecca?
Also going off what Dylan said, it doesn't matter. Like, you can learn from agriculture-wise and public speaking-wise. It doesn't matter if you live on a farm or not. And also, I definitely study your creed more before school starts when Mr. Sanders comes out and talks to you.
Yeah, if you got it before school starts, you need to start before school starts. That's a no-brainer, but it's hard to understand that you need to do that during the summer before school starts. You're enjoying your summer and I don't want to study that. It'll all fall in place once school starts, right? And so will the stress. We'll get stressed. Anybody else? Go ahead, Allison.
I would like to say definitely pay attention and do study your creed before, just because it is a lot and it's a lot to handle once you get in there. It's really fun. There's a lot of trips you can take. I would definitely recommend getting your official dress and going to everything that you can. It's really fun, and there's just a lot of cool experiences, and you can learn from it.
Don't pass up the opportunity. You betcha. Well, this has been an excellent group. They've done well. I appreciate their time. We're going to have Maggie share the list of sponsors of today's FFA Day on KSMO Media. Maggie?
Our title sponsor is Roberts & Jetson's Lumber Company, Pratt Mitchell & Company, PC, Wilson Mortuary, Century 21 South Central Realty, Napa Mooney Auto Supply, VIP Properties, Lorinda's Furniture and Antiques in the 72 Farm Center.
All right, very good. And with that, we'll send it back to Alan on the board. Thank you.
Our nation's
Terrell Complete Auto Care is a full-service auto repair center in Salem. They offer full-service oil changes as well as $2 discounts on Tuesdays for all ladies, and Wednesday is Senior Citizen Day. Plus, Terrell Complete Auto Care can take care of all your auto and diesel repair needs. They offer free pickup and delivery in town. James and Sheena and the staff of Terrell Complete Auto Care are proud to support the Salem Tigers.
This is Mike Elliott from Town & Country Insurance. As an independent agent, we shop many different companies, allowing us to find the best value for our clients. Town & Country Insurance has been serving South Central Missouri since 1963. We have offices in Salem, Rolla, Licking, and Mountain Grove, and would welcome an opportunity to show you what we can do for you. Stop by 400 West Scenic Rivers Boulevard, located inside the Town & Country Bank, or you can call our office at 729-6624.
No matter what, every morning, farmers go to work, doing what needs done. The work is unforgiving. The days are long, real long. They nurture, they grow, they harvest. When the day is done, sell the fruits of your labor to your neighbors on Town Street.